Hello, I'm Grant from Rocket Film Equipment. The greatest challenge for a cinematographer or lighting crew is having complete control of a light source, the light design, or lighting requirements. The level of lighting control is restricted mostly by time or by budget. Lighting control can be broken down into three basic categories: reflection, reduction, or diffusion. The use of lighting control textiles can create a unique cinematic look. Reduction textiles reduce a given light source without affecting the quality of the light. There's two types of reducing textiles: blacks and greys, or nets. Reducing blacks. This is a black denim. Black denim, it's used on all movie sets for flags, cutters. This is a very, very good all-round black. It's brushed on one side lightly and has a very, very strong back. It's a very robust material, good value for money. Next is a black velvet. It's a true shooting black. This you would keep as a background black to shoot behind someone so that the light is absorbed into the black. When you're using blacks as a negative fill, sometimes a pure black is too much. The sharpness of lenses that we have today and the sensitivity of digital sensors, it's necessary to have an intermediate, a neutral grey. It can be used as a far more subtle negative fill. This is a light reducing net. Black nets reduce light in half-stop increments without reflecting it. Unlike black nets, white nets reduce light, but they also reflect light. Here's an example of black nets. Here's a half-stop on, half-stop off. Here's an example of full stop on, full stop off. Full stop on, full stop off. Here's an example of a white single, half stop on, half stop off. Notice how it's still a little lighter now because it's actually reflecting from the white. One stop on, one stop off. One stop on, one stop off. Half stop on. Notice the reflected light on the pair as opposed to the single black. Black's a little darker. There's the white. The white reflects light off its surface, so it transmits light more than the black. Nets come in open and closed frames. Open frames are used to sculpt light. Here's a single stop black, cutting light off the apple but remaining on the pear without creating a shadow. On, off, on, off. There's a white one-stop net, taking light off the apple, leaving it on the pear. On, off, on, off. The white, of course, is reflecting a little more light than the black. We have a broad range of diffusion textiles. Diffusion textiles are used to create many different qualities of light. Here's the range of diffusion textiles. There's the white nets, which are a diffusion, so they're diffusing the light there. That's a double. There's a grid cloths. Here's a quarter grid. On, off, quite a heavy diffusion. On, off. Black diffusion is interesting because it diffuses light without reflecting light. There's the black China silk. There's the white China silk. Notice the white is reflected into the fruit off the face, whereas the black is diffusing the light, but there's no reflection. Off. Quarter silk. On. Grey diffusion. We'll just have a look at a quarter grey. On, off. Neutral grey diffusion is a diffusion that's used somewhere between white and black. Diffuses the light but has far less reflected light than the white. Next is a highlight or a shower screen. This is a very light diffusion with a great shadow reduction. It reduces hard shadows without reducing the light. Bleached and unbleached muslins are a heavy textile diffusion. They create a sourceless diffused light. This is the bleached white. This is unbleached muslin. Unbleached muslin is a warmer quality of light. This is lightbox diffusion. Lightbox diffusion is also referred to as magic cloth. Its basic function is to match the diffused source from a light box. It's quite a heavy diffusion, very neutral, very good for LEDs. Reflection is a reflected light source. We have golds, silvers, whites, greys, and reflective blends. Reflective gold is for a very warm reflective light. On, off, on. That's quite a hard reflective source. This is a rocket reflector. The rocket reflector has a broader spread of light. This is the silver. I love rocket reflector. Silvers and golds have three different grades. A shiny, or in some places it's referred to as a microwave, so obviously that's very, very hot. The medium reflector, the rocket reflector, and then a matte silver reflector. Rocket has three grades of gold. It's the matte gold, the medium rocket reflector gold, shiny gold. We have the blended daylight. These are checkerboards, the daylight and silver for a cool reflected blended source. So there's a bit of blue in that. Or there's the gold in the blended source. So it's silver and gold. Bleached and unbleached muslins are reflectors as well. The surface of bleached and unbleached muslin is textured, so it gives a much softer reflected light source. It's the bleached muslin reflected on and off, and it's the unbleached muslin. So it's, the quality is a little warmer in the reflected light than the white. Very similar to a polystyrene reflector. The white denim, again, is a soft white reflective source. This can be utilized as an expendable. White bounces, we have ultra bounce. Ultra bounce is a ripstop on one side and then a white clay coat on the other. The unique thing about the rocket ultra bounce is it has three coats of ultra bounce, so it has a very luminant white, so soft white reflected. This is Grifflon. Grifflon is a black white plastic. It's a good all-round lightweight exterior reflector. We also have a heavier poly bounce, which has got a more matte surface. Again, it has a black and a white, a little heavier, and the reflected light is a little softer. Grey bounce. Grey bounce is a more subtle bounce than a white. So again, on cloudy days or in a medium contrast lighting setup, you might not want so much reflected light. There's a difference between the white and the grey. The white, the grey. This is a daylight blue reflector. Reflects a daylight blue as opposed to silver. Here we have a silver on there, way too bright. I want to knock that off by a half stop. All I use is a single white net in front. Can actually be on the actual material itself. We've got a reduction right there, or I can use a double. Again, it's a lot more subtle. You'd use that with the golds as well. The gold tint is just way too overpowering and just not looking very good at all. Simple way of controlling it is to put in as a single, on, off, on, and there's a double, on. So essentially you've got a light source now that is controllable. Rocket manufactures Chroma Key Screens. Digital range, digital green, digital blue. Manufacture a digital green with a digital blue on the back of it. Analog green, analog blue, and we have an under exterior green and blue. Analog blue and analog green, these are used when the digital range may be too reflective. We also manufacture an exterior green with a nylon back to stop light from coming through it, or a studio back, which is just foam.